Well, there were families and campaigners inside and outside the inquiry today. What did they make of Boris Johnson's evidence? Our health editor, Hugh Pym, has been hearing from some of them.
I have cognitive issues. I find it difficult to walk very far without having to rest or I collapse. But today is so important.
I've come from South London today. I'm here primarily for my dad.
Jean and Antony, both at the inquiry today, have lost so much in different ways because of COVID-19. Jean's father died in April 2020 in a care home after getting the virus. Antony was a war correspondent, but now because of long COVID, every day is a struggle. He can no longer work. Outside the inquiry, they met others who've lost loved ones or suffered with the lasting consequences of the virus.
There's no doubt this is a highly significant day for campaigners, but there'll be more to come when the inquiry in its later stages looks in more detail at the response of the NHS to the COVID crisis and what happened in care homes.
The scenes from Italy really rattled me.
At a distance, Jim, who's a consultant, is watching the inquiry in breaks from his hospital shift.
If you look at our ITU, there are 2 non-corona patients.
Working in intensive care in the first wave of COVID, he had to help manage the surge of seriously ill patients.
Listening to Boris Johnson, that build-up period, from my perspective, we were desperate for the lockdown. We were terrified that we were going to be overrun with patients and that we would be put into the most awful ethical situations.
Was it Matt Hancock last week?
Having heard Boris Johnson, Jean was sceptical of the explanations of decisions on lockdowns.
He made reference to the scientists quite a few times. Well, they didn't say anything. Behavioural fatigue and bounce back and that's why they delayed locking down. So he's almost pushing the blame onto the scientists and absolving himself of that responsibility as Prime Minister to make those decisions.
Antony and his wife are both living with the continuing symptoms known as long COVID.
It has taken everything we hold dear from us. We've lost everything. We exist now on benefits for all of our income.
So what did he make of Boris Johnson's apology?
They're words, aren't they? It makes a headline, Boris says sorry, but what does it change?
Jean will be coming back when Rishi Sunak gives evidence. For Antony, the physical effort of getting there may be too much. Hugh Pym, BBC News.